Hello everyone, welcome to the web development course from Desi QNE. So basically in this video we will be learning about React.js states. Okay, so what these React.js states are. So these you may think while learning these states these are similar to the props, but no, props and states are very much different. They have a lot of difference with them. Okay, so to begin with, what the prop is, here you can see some state is being, no, sorry. To begin with, what our states is, you can see some state has been changing over here, right? You can see now it is 2 and before it was tree, something like that is showing over here, right? So this is the concept of state. You using the React.js state, what you can do is you can update your states. You can update your state and you can also retrieve your previous state, and using these sort of states you can build your applications. This states has a lot of applications in your web development. Okay, so in React.js, states are like containers for storing information that can change over a period of time. And think of these states as uh, these are like variables that hold data your website or app needs. Okay, so for example, if you are making a counter, here we are making some sort of counter, right? So in this counter, what is happening is you would use a state to keep track of the number. So when the number changes, so when this number is being changed, React automatically update your website to show the new value. Okay, so states, what this states do is states helps React to powered apps stay dynamic and responsive. Okay, using these states you can also work on responsiveness of your web page. Like if some sort of state has been changed, you can make your web page to fix to some other extent, like you can give some other dimensions to your web page. So you can also define how your web page can look, and most basically these are like the variables, and here we will be dealing with the data. Okay, data updation, and we will be also considering the previously what data was there. Okay, so after this, just look into this. Here what it is happening is I'm just trying to increment the value here. This is also a sort of counter kind of thing. Here what I'm doing is I'm incrementing the current value. Okay, so here in the code I have just written that I may have written that console.log new value and old value. Okay, so in the new value, what value I have incremented, that value I'm obtaining over here, and in the old value, the value that was there before incrementing. Okay, so this is basically how the application of our states work. So state is nothing but this is also a hook, React hook. We had learned that we will be learning about the React hook, as this is the foundation for the React. You will be learning a lot of React hooks, and in that learning React state is the most important one, and you will be definitely using this a lot. Okay, so after learning all this, we saw how here the increment operation has been applying. Here we are getting now and before value, here also we are incrementing. And after all this, you can see that we had some previous state, right? We had some previous state, and using that previous state we have updated our state. Okay, so after updating our state we have obtained a current state. This was basically the overview of how our state works and how we can apply the states, and using those state what data we can obtain. Okay, so after this, the next thing that I want to do is let's start with our coding. Okay, we had done all this. Okay, so as we are learning the component based architecture, right? So for that, what I will do is I will create one more component. Okay, not. this one here in the src, I will create one more component. A component is nothing but a file, right? Using those components we will be sharing some data, and component is nothing but piece of work that we are doing in our react.js. Okay, here I will create a new component. You can name it to anything. The component names actually doesn't matter, you can name it to anything. Just keep in mind in that you should have to name it in such a way that the first letter of your component name or the file name is capital. Okay, so I will name it in this way, or I would have also named it in this way, so that actually doesn't matter. So text form dot js. So what I'm doing in this JS is, in this textform.js is, in the previous video we had learned that we will be building some sort of application in which we will be removing some extra spaces, and we will be dealing with the text format data, right? So you already know what this all text and all, so nothing to explain it once again. Here, I wrote RFC, that is React Functional Component. I got this basic code snippet and I shall have to make changes over here, right? So here, keep in mind that the function name that I have obtained over here is same as the function name that I have written. Okay, yeah, that's great now. And after this, and also this is not necessary, it's completely all right even if you don't use this. And after this what I want to do is, let's have some text area over here. Okay, so I will not write code for that. You already know what is html, you know difference between html and jsx, right? You know how to write all those things, you just have to make some sort of changes. So I will just bring some bootstrap, because we don't want to waste our time. Here what I will do is I will go to git bootstrap, right? Git bootstrap. And in the git bootstrap, what I want is, I want a form. Basically I want a simplest form. Okay, let's say I want this simplest form. So for that I will just copy this code. I will copy this code and I will paste it over here. And one more thing is, I have copied this code from here, getbootstrap.com. And most important is that you should have that this thing here, right? You should have added this script and also your style over here, that is necessary. I'm not adding it once again, because if you add it one time, that is enough. And after this what I want to do is, in my text form, definitely this is a wrong format we have over here. The bootstrap have not minded to make changes, right? Bootstrap have not minded to make changes. As we use jsx, we don't want this html-ish code, right? We want some changed code. Bootstrap has not added that, so we will make changes over here. I will do control F. So yeah, for the class, what I will do is, I will make it to class name, and I will replace all. Yeah, everywhere it has been replaced. We have some error for this input. So that is, this is a self-closing tag. I should close it over here. And also, yeah, that looks fine. We don't have any errors now, right? We don't have any errors now, that looks fine. And after this I will open my terminal, control and backtick. Here I don't think there is error, but still what I will do is, I will just exit from here and I will restart my development server. This may take some sort of time. Okay, no changes have been applied over here. As for now, you might know the reason why no changes have been applied over here. That is, whatever we write inside of our app.js, that will be shown on our web page, right? Here we have not written anything in our app.js. That's the reason there is nothing being displayed over here. So for that, I should have to display this one text form, and we have exported it. So for that, I can get it here, text form. Okay, as I do so, it is automatically gets downloaded, or no, not downloaded, it automatically gets imported over here. Okay, so here I wrote it, and after I wrote it, I got it here. So as we are just dealing with our text, I don't think we need this email component, so I can just remove that. So here it is, right? Let's see, it is opening over here and ending here. So I will just delete this one from here. That looks pretty cool. Alt Z. Okay, that looks pretty cool over here. And after this, you can also make some changes. You can make some changes for this styling. You can add some background color using this itself. You can add some background color. You can just google it over there to see. Okay, so after this, let's say this looks very odd over here. Let's say I don't want to display this. We have learned about the props, right? So I will send some prop from this. So I will send a heading. So what heading I want to send is, let's say that is, enter the enter the text. Okay, you can say enter the text to modify, right? Okay, we have sent it over here. Don't expect the direct changes, just like you are passing the prop. Why will the changes will apply over here, right? You are passing the prop, and you should make use of that prop over here. Here I will use that, and before that I should have to get the properties, right? And I got this property over here in my text form. We set here I want to display my heading. Okay, so props dot heading. Yeah, you can see the error has been gone. The error that was throwing is we have used some invalid syntax. The error is gone. Okay, don't think about the errors that come while typing. Here you can see enter the text to modify have been applied over here. Let's say I just want to increase my rows. Okay, I want this to be little long. So for that I did it in this way. And after this, you can also make some changes using your concept of this bootstrap, and make changes over that. So that actually doesn't matter over here, because we are learning the React.js. And now what I want to do is I will create a button. Okay, so here I will create a button, and when I click that button, I want some operation to happen over there. Okay, so for that I will create a button of class button, and I want that button to have two classes. Okay, so that I can style it in different ways. And one more thing is, for the button, this is the default styling. That not the default styling, there are many stylings in the bootstrap. This is one of the way of styling. This class name is there in the bootstrap. You can go and check it over there. Whenever you use, as you go, as you learn, and as you use these things in your projects, you will just get to know, and you will keep these things in the mind. Okay, so after this, let's say here I will write convert. Okay, you can see a good sort of button you can see over here. Let's say I don't apply this class name. What will happen if I don't apply this class name? So for that I will just create a button. Okay, I will just create a button. I will write convert. You can see this is just a button. I have not added any sort of classes over there, and you can see this is a very simple or common button with no stylings. Okay, so that's the reason I have used these classes of the Bootstrap. You can go to your bootstrap.com and you can learn it over here, right? You can go here and see the classes for your button. Okay, here what I can do is I can write anything. Let's say heading 1. Okay, you can write anything over here. Let's say the first operation that I want to do is I want to convert this text to the upper case. Okay, so as soon as I click on convert, this is a button, right? As soon as I click on convert, I want this text to be converted to upper text. So for that, what I can do is we will make use of our states in our React. Okay, so for that, let's understand how to use our React states. So for that, keep in mind that you should write your states inside your function itself. Okay, don't write it outside of your function, or you can say outside of your main function. Okay, don't write it outside of your main function. This is, let's consider this as your main function. Don't write it outside of this. And here I will just write something. Let's say constant. Okay, constant, and this is the thing, this is the basic syntax constant, and after that you will write the use state, and inside of the use state you will call your use state. So this is the syntax. Okay, you don't have to by heart it, just keep in mind. You will just understand it in just in one use. Okay, so here constant, that is equal to use state. So in this process what we will give is, here we saw that our use state will, what it will have, it will have some previous state, right? Using that previous state we will update your state and you will get the current state, right? So this is something that happens in our states. So for that reason you will write the text. I want to update my text here, right? So this is the name I'm giving as per my convention. You can give some any other name. And set text is nothing but the updated text. Okay, so this is also the name that I'm giving according to my convention. So I'm using this sort of camel case using here. You can use it too, because it is better if you use it and you can easily see what is written over there. If you have written just in the small cases, lower cases, you will not understand what it is written over there, right? So for that reason use it in this way. And after that, here what you should write in this braces. Okay, we have this braces. Okay, inside of this use state what you should write is, you should write your default state. Okay, so default state can be anything. Inside of this you should write the default state. Okay, default state means for the first time what this constant value text will have. Okay, so here as I have written default state, so this is the default value. So I will just make it to enter, not state, enter text here. Okay, so let me explain you what is happening over here. You have written constant, and here this is a variable, and this variable has the value of this enter text here. Okay, so after this, one more thing is, when you update this text, okay, you should have to update is using this set text. So this is the basic overview. I hope you have understood how this basically works. And this after this what you can do is, you can call your set text. Okay, set text is equal to, let's say you want to set it to something. Okay, let's say this is new text, you want to set it to new text. And after this, let's say you want to console.log, you want to console.log the text. Here keep in mind that you will not console.log you will not console.log this set text. Okay, this text will always have the value that has been assigned, or when the updation occurs this value is stored in this. Okay, you will just understand while we go with that. So after making this, definitely we have got an error. So let's see what's that error. That is console, right? So use state is not defined. Okay, so most important thing is you should import this use state first. Okay, so I will not write it here, I will just write it over here, because we are importing even this from our React itself. So for that reason I will write my use state. Okay, we wrote it in this way. Here you can see use state, we have called this use state, and our text might have been updated, or if we have errors we will just check into it. Okay, here let me reload it, and after reloading I will inspect my app, and in the console we will see the errors that we have caused. So yeah, lots of error over here. So what are these errors here? Just ignore these errors for now, because I don't want to show you any extra things. Okay, so we will definitely clear these errors, but for now I will show how this text and new text is working. Okay, here we were in this, and first you will see that you console.log, right? You console.log your text, and before that you have set your text. Here you can see your enter text here, and after that you will see the new updated text over here. Okay, so again this has been run once again when I reload it. So okay, this is how it basically works. Okay, and one more thing is, it is not a best way to console.log your this one text itself. Okay, so after this we will also make some sort of changes, and we will see how these things basically work. Okay, here, okay, let me just go to this. I will clear it, we will reload it to prevent infinite loop. Some infinite loop is happening in our React code. Let me just check it where our infinite loop is happening. So yeah, let me just comment it out, and if I go here, yeah, that error has been gone. It is the reason that we are calling our this one set text many number of times. Okay, so yeah, this I wrote this code just to display how our use state works, and most important thing is we will not be writing it in this way. We will define some functions, and instead of that functions we will write it. So I hope you have understood about how this basically works. And let's say here I want something. Okay, so for that what I will do is, here let's say inside of my this div, okay, inside of this my div, what I want is, let's say I want one heading h1 tag. So inside of this h1 tag what I want is, here you can see this is not looking good, so I will just make some changes over there, and we will see. Here I will add my heading over here. So yeah, props dot heading, props dot heading, and after this I want to display one more thing. Let's say I want to display my text. Okay, so I will write it here, We will go here, enter the text to modify, enter text here. So you can see even our text has been shown here, right? So yeah, that one use state value has been shown over here. Obviously this is not a good app that we have, good application that we have built. We will make changes over here and we will see how these things basically work. Okay, so definitely you will not want your this thing to be displayed over there. Enter text here. So I want my this text to be displayed over in my text area, right? You want it to be displayed here, that will definitely look good. So for that, what I will do is here I will write some value. Okay, value, what this value is, you have learned it in your HTML course, right? As soon as I make it the value to text here, you can see enter text here has been applied over here. And after this, let's see what are the changes that we can do. And one more thing is, we have written it over here, right? So let's say you want to assign some value. You cannot assign any value to your use state variable in this way. Let's say you want to change some value. Let's say changed value. Okay, so changed value, you gave it in this way. This is the wrong way. Okay, you should not assign the value in this way, because you should only use the concept of use state to reassign any value or to update. You should only use the use state. Okay, you might be using that thing and you may be thinking that where the error is there, right? You are not able to see some sort of error but here in the code, but you are seeing error here, right? So for that reason, it is important to know each and everything perfectly. Okay, and after this, let's see when what changes we can do. Okay, so basically we have written this code to modify our text, right? So for that, if I click here, I want it to be changed. So let's apply that functionality over here. So in the button, you have learned about JavaScript event listeners, right? You already know about handling the events in JavaScript. You are well versed in that if you have gone through the course of our JavaScript. Okay, so on click, what you want to do is you will call some function. Okay, handle, let's name it, this is according to my convention, you can name it to anything. I'm calling this handle click up function. Okay, here when on click is applied, I'm calling this function and I should have to define that function here in my this, right? In my this main function, I can call it to be main function. So I will just make it to constant handle. Okay, I wrote some arrow function over here and we are seeing some more changes, more errors. Handle is not defined. So where we have written handle, let's see. So yeah, it was showing the error, but we have cleared that error, right? So in this function, whenever you click here, this function will trigger. No matter wherever you write it here, you can write it here or you can write it here. So this function will render only when this on click operation has been applied. Okay, so for now what I will do is, here in my this function I will just console.log, just for your understanding, console.log was clicked. Okay, uppercase was clicked. So why we are using this sort of console.log is, basically in the software development you will use this trick for the purpose of debugging. Okay, and also for the purpose to make you understand, I will use that. And where is my inspect? Not this. So yeah, these are the some changes that you have to make, because we have obtained the HTML over there, right? And for is not defined. So for that you should write HTML for in your label tag. So that's completely all right. You can just ignore it for now. And when I click here, convert, you can see uppercase was clicked. The function we called was triggered, and those changes have been applied over there. So this is how it basically works. And yes, you can add as many as number of things over here. And here it was HTML for, right? HTML for. um, that error has been gone. And one more thing is, we have this field without on change handler, right? Here what error it is throwing is, let me just explain you the error that it is throwing over here. Here you can see, where is the value that we have provided? Yeah, we have the value provided over here, right? This text is a use state, right? The text is a value of use state, but you have not provided any function for this, right? So when the state has been changed, what the function should do, that thing you have not provided over there. So for that reason, so whenever some change has been applied to this text value, you want to call some function, you have to make some changes to your web page. Okay, so whenever the on change has been applied, I will just call this function handle on change. So one more thing is, I will not call my function in this way. If I call my function in this way, what will happen is, let's say your text form, when your text form file will render, in that time, when the control comes to the 24th line, it will directly, it will also execute this statement, not this statement, it will directly execute this function also. And this is not the expected thing, right? So I only want to call this function when some change has been applied. So I don't want to call this function when the change has not been applied. So for that reason, I should not call it. I should only have to assign value to my function. Okay, so ignore the errors you're seeing over there. So for that, constant handle change, handle on change, and I will write an arrow function, right? So let's say even on the handle on change, what you want to do is, you just want to console.log your console.log on change has been triggered. Okay, so let's say in your handle up click, when this function was triggered, okay, you also want to set your text. Okay, so this is the right way to set your text. So earlier we were doing it in this way, right? So this is not the right way. You should set your text in this way only, inside of your function. Okay, so I will set my text, that is I will want to you clicked, ignore the spelling, and also ignore this manifest. Enter the text to modify, enter text here. Okay, you have set your text to this. Whenever I click here, you can see my text has been changed, right? So when this function was called on click, when on click operation was happened, this function was called. Even if I have not gone through the event listeners, you will definitely understand it, but it is better to go through that once. Whenever I click this, my function or my content inside this was changed here. You cannot make any changes here, right? See, if I type anything over here, as you are building this application side by side, if I click anything over here, no changes have been applied, right? So for that reason, keep in mind that here we are getting some value. Okay, so here whenever the on change was called, we are also getting some value. So that value is nothing but whatever you are trying to change here, right? You are basically, as this is a text, you are inserting some text, right? So that is a one of the change that you can consider. Okay, so based on that change, that you will obtain it over here, not there, here in the on change. So that is you will obtain an event. Okay, instead of event you can also write just e. Okay, for the just understanding purpose, I will write the full name. You can write it anything over here. It is the value that you are obtaining after on change has been applied. So after this, let's say I want to set my text to, so to what I will set my text? I will set my text to event dot target dot value. Okay, you already know what this event dot target dot value is. Okay, you can see I will click on this convert, and I will just, if I type over here, I will see some changes have been applied. Okay, those changes are the text that on change is performing, and that text is added over here. You can see also the earlier text that we were having here, that has been appended to that. And again here uppercase was clicked, and after that you can also display your text. Okay, let's go to console. Here you can see that when I click on this convert, uppercase was clicked, you clicked on handle up click, and then one more function was called, right? So for that reason we are also getting this. When the first time I clicked it, I got this upper case was clicked, and then enter text here, that is the text that is present at that time. And after this we are getting you clicked on handle up click, right? So this is the one more value, you can see it over here. Yeah, that is the one more text we have set it the text. So for that reason this has been shown over there. Okay, I hope by all this experimenting with the code and also we have make changes into our text that we were getting over there, and we have seen all the changes that are possible using our use state. So don't think that this is restricted to this much itself. Okay, so we can use our use state very broadly and we can see the changes we are applying over there. So one more thing that you should know for the concept of use state is that here you updated some state, right? You can see you updated a state here, right? Again you are updating the state, but the thing is concentrate, focus on here. Whenever the page reloads, we will see this reload symbol over here, right? So some change have been applied only in this thing, only in this sort of component. Okay, that is text form here. Only the change has been applied over here, not even inside this full file. Okay, not this entire thing is reloading. Only the small change that you have applied will be reloaded. Okay, so this entire page will not load. Only the change that have been occurred since the last reload will be shown over here. So this is the main advantage of our React. Okay, this is the main advantage of our React, that is we are not rendering our page completely. Okay, we are not loading our page unnecessarily. We are just loading some part of our page that is necessary. Okay, we are just loading some part of our page that is necessary. So basically what this will do is this will um, optimize your web page. This is something, the concept of optimization. Okay, so you will, in the data structures and algorithms, you will optimize your code, right? So for what purpose you are optimizing that code? To reduce some time complexities, right? So here the same concept is that here we have written this sort of code to reduce the loading time. Okay, if you load only some sort of code, you are loading only some part of code, so by that your loading time also decreases and also your page is optimized. Okay, so user can have better experience with your app if you have built your app using your React.js. Okay, so this was the overview of the use state. So use state is a hook, so that is used to change our states from one state to other state. So that state changes, we want that changes to be reflected on our web page, right? And also the most important hook, and the other most important hook that we have is use effect hook. Okay, so what that use effect hook and how we will use it, and what are the things that you need to keep in mind while using this sort of different kind of hooks, that all those things we will be learning in our next videos.